we'll be here in just a second. I'm multitask here, I'm going to take over camera duties.
Okay, well, there's a bit of a link here, because my second set of poems are about animals and birds, and this is, and I do a bit of bird watching, but probably not as seriously as some. But I wondered once what birds feel about being watched. Wetlands are not what they once were, when beside lagoon or lake the only sound was the wind sighing and the calls of crane and crake, where rails could rail and waders could wade, only harried by marsh harriers, now meres that were swam on by phalaropes or angled by fishing herons, are gazed at by men with telescopes and women with high-powered lenses. There is no corner of bog or creek where camouflage can blend in, so egrets egress and bitterns get bitter because they're sick and tired of being peered at by crowds of prying twitchers. As I say, I do a bit of bird watching. This is a poem about some bird watching I did on my Christmas holiday. In Spain at Montfrag, 300 vultures live on a crag. I have seen them with my own eyes, and they have seen me and ignored me. A fat man who gets out of a van and gapes up in awe. Some sit on ledges, some perch on edges, and let go to fall, spread wings and soar. They may circle and glide, find a thermal to ride, in spirals and gyres, higher and higher and higher, silently curving, intersecting, interlacing in a broad feathered dance in the sky, over the Tagus Gorge, over the valleys and woods, up ever into pure azure, high above apes and their words. And this is about a bird which would probably like to do what the vultures do, and did indeed briefly manage to do it once. Okay, I am an eagle. I live in a zoo. I don't like it much, neither would you. I sat on my perch, I glared down at crowds, I dived in my mind between dreamed clouds. I sat on my perch, I stared at the wall, and I saw a sky with no bars at all. I sat on my perch, I shat on the floor, and I tried to imagine what it feels like to soar. Then, God of eagles, made good luck for me. One unlocked moment, enough to fly free. Life without a cage was too short and sweet. Wide London sky, killed dogs to eat. I sat in my tree, I didn't know what to feel. I kept dreaming of bars and regular meals. I sat in my tree, alone with the sky. I saw a warm cage, I'd no wish to fly. I sat in my tree, I knew I was tamed. Made no move to escape when the dark gun was aimed. I am an eagle, I live in a zoo. I don't like it much, and neither would you. Okay, so this is another animal that escaped from the zoo last year in Wales. Okay. Lilith leapt the electric fence. Maybe at the time it made sense to pounce. Claws extended at a bird in flight and so fall into freedom by accident, or maybe she made a deliberate jailbreak. Because you've got to do what you've got to do to get out of the zoo, and who knows what a lynx thinks. But briefly, Lilith the lynx got away and was no longer on display. She was no longer confined to be admired or ignored by the curious, the awestruck and the bored peering through the wire. Perhaps real freedom then kicked in, with no food and drink provided, out in the woods and fields and hills. To eat she has to hunt and kill. At first maybe she has an edge, since it must be centuries since any lynx walked and stalked along these thickets and hedges. So maybe some rabbits and mice, or a bird or two just turned too late and drew their last breath between the jaws of golden-eyed death. Sadly, hunters can be hunted too, and Lilith could not be left to be free. She was the property of a zoo, and large predators in Britain just cannot be, unless they're members of the bourgeoisie. Uncaught, Lilith caused official fear, alleged to pose a risk severe, so a killing bullet, not a tranquilizing dart, was sent to stop this beauty's heart. But the wheel will turn and justice will be done, and free once more Lilith will run, padding along on larger paws with longer, stronger, deadlier claws. Reborn a larger, fiercer cat, she'll rip the throats out of bureaucrats. And this next one is about a larger and fiercer cat, and the first line you will, I'm sure many of you will know, is a direct pitch from William Blake. I am a tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night, or in the day and in the shade, lying watching in a glade where the golden light is striping down through green foliage and leaves me almost invisible, except for my unblinking eye, which only the dying should see. I am a tiger, I once heard a philosopher teaching. He said philosophy is like searching for a black cat in a darkened room at night with a brown paper bag over your head. It is totally out of court. It is just not cricket. I thought, this did not concern me, because I am a tiger, not a black panther. But lest some roving forest gypsy passing by with a handmade flintlock gun fashioned out of an old gas pipe should descry my unblinking eye and shoot me through it in order to sell my powerful powdered penis to give a millionaire somewhere a hard-on that he doesn't really need, I stir myself and pad out across the jungle floor. Yes, I think, I'll eat a philosopher tonight, knock the back off his head with one swipe of my paw, lick the knowledge porridge out of his skull with my abrasive tongue, so that I then might know what he was talking about. Or I could, like my northern brothers in the snow, go for a Siberian, but that might just be like drinking a gallon of vodka. Okay, so the tiger might become extinct for reasons mentioned in that poem, and this poem is about other animals that have become extinct, and I didn't fit this one in, but just this week the news is that the last northern white rhinoceros, the last male northern white rhinoceros has died. So there may not be any more of those animals. The great auk is gone, so we'll never know if it cried auk like its own name. And Stella's sea cow has gone too, so we'll never again hear its maritime moo. The passenger pigeon's great commute is done, and the thylacine, who can say? It could still be around today. That's what we rather believe than face the fact that we are butchers who lose little sleep, then wake to kill and kill and kill. Only then do we weep. Okay, and I have played my own role in extinction, and this is a poem about that. Actually, some of you may have seen a similar event earlier this evening. I arranged an assassination of a visitor to my home, but I'm no modern Machiavelli or player in a Game of Thrones, so I must stress it was not a guest who died on my floor alone. My victim came in uninvited. I was not a jovial host. He or she ran away in a streak of grey, so at first I thought it was a ghost. But in the end, through overconfidence, my visitor showed its true form, pointy at the front, incontinent at the back. It shat all over my floor. Now, I'm no benign Buddhist mystic or smiling tolerant sage, so scattering mouse turds all over my place caused my anti-rodent death rage. And when I took the limp corpse out to throw it in the bin, the mouse god started planning a vengeance for my rodenticidal sin. Soon I'll know that I'll be offered something I cannot refuse, a free holiday forever or a return ticket to youth. I'll tread on the trigger to get it, and the man-trap will smash into my back, and I'll become reincarnated to scurry for crumbs in the corners of a fat man's flat. Okay. I don't know if mice are charismatic unless they're called Mickey, but some animals are charismatic, like tigers and eagles and whales, elephants, that kind of thing. Not all animals are, and this last poem I'll remember some of the animals who are perhaps not as glamorous. Hello, I'm a slug and I'm crawling out tonight, leaving a trail of slime because I'm going to unite with the headlouse, the woodlouse, the weevil and the rat, and to join up with several other species that are anti-charismatic in the public eye, but this is an injustice which we seek to rectify. None of us look striking, posing on mountain sides, migrating across savannas, or singing in the sky. We don't dive or leap majestically out of the ocean. Fine artists don't paint us to symbolise emotions, or patriotism, freedom, and other noble notions. We don't roam in rainforests or tundras. We were stowaways on the ark, and where we live is called infested, never made a national park. No one will cross the world to see us, but to hear a gorilla fart, they'll fly all the way to Africa in a polluting jet plane. The gorilla farts, they gasp in glee and then fly back again. We won't sell you anything with cute faces and appealing eyes. The means of our own death are what we advertise. A picture of one cockroach sells tons of insecticide. We are vermins, pests, pariahs, carrying eating parasites. But when it all ends, we'll cut you down to size. The corpse of one lion will feed 10,000 flies.
Hey.